What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy, and we're back with another episode of Qualified TV. Hey, man, my guests been great all season. My guests have been great all season. I ain't never told y'all a lie, but I will let the guest for this episode introduce himself, and then we go hop right into the interview as we typically do, man. So yeah, let the people know who you are.
Man, so my name is Second Timothy Jeremiah Ervin. I'll give you my full government because don't nobody know that. But I just go by TJ, man, from Chicago, Illinois. So it was good, my boy.
Good, my boy. Yeah, man. No, very, very happy to have this conversation, man. We've been trying to get this done over the past couple of weeks. So definitely finally happy to have it all set and ready to go. But man, let's just start at the beginning, bro. You are currently a coach now at the collegiate level. But when did that love for basketball or in general, just sports, when did that love when did you kind of realize it? When did you first realize that you were in love with sports, or if it was specifically basketball, like when did you know?
It started at a very young age. I would say about like really 2 years old. I got pictures when I was 2 years old holding the basketball. But look, my dad was a high school coach for 25 plus years, Hall of Fame coach in the state of Illinois, won championships, coach a whole bunch of college guys. And just seeing that, as a kid, like I always went to just go with him to go watch basketball. Like on the weekends, he'll go to recruit. I'm just going with him. Like we just going to 6 different games in a day, just watching kids so he can go recruit stuff like that. So like I never really wanted to coach, but I was always around it. And then Conzo Martin's my uncle. He coached at Mizzou. So I got like uncles that's in the business. So like being around coaches all my life, it kind of just got to me. And then when I played college ball, I was like, I don't want to play overseas because I don't want to do all that. But I was like, I gotta find something that I would love to do every single day. And I was like, I love basketball. Like I
Yeah.
just wake up like it don't matter like how the day go. I could wake up and just go in the office and I'm happy because I'm just around the environment, the atmosphere. Like it's all like it's just joy. It's joy in doing what I do. So it's really besides a kid like 2 years old for real.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. But no, it actually makes a lot of sense. When did you start playing? And when you started playing, was it because it was something that you were just around, or did you actually enjoy playing at a young age too?
Man, it started like bitty ball. Like we had the school I went to. My dad he always hosts bitty ball camps for little kids, and I would just hoop. Now obviously I ain't get no say so I'm just going. So like I'm just going, but I wasn't even thinking about like playing basketball. For it was just fun to me.
Yeah.
I didn't really start loving basketball till about seventh grade. Honestly, me and my dad had a conversation, and he was like, "All right, well if you want to play college ball, like we gotta take it serious for real." And this is literally about the midway of my seventh grade year going into eighth grade. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like that's what I want. So then seventh grade is when I started click. Like that's when I really worked on it every day. Like it was really like a tunnel vision in terms of what I want, of what I like me wanting to play college ball and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so that's really when I started to love basketball. Before then, I was just playing sports. Like I just wanted to be outside, have fun,
Yeah.
football, golf, soccer. I'm playing whatever. I played baseball. I got hit. I quit. I ain't doing that no more. But I did everything. I did everything though. But I was like, I gotta pick a sport, and basketball was the one sport I chose. I low key wish I played football though. Low key wish I played football for real.
Hey, no, I feel that because so football, so what baseball was for you was football for me. Like it wasn't even so much that like anything happened. The couple years I played when I was young, it ain't doing for me. I just ain't had a
Nah.
feel for it. But I played basketball and baseball, ironically, like well, I played both of them like together or concurrently, I guess I should say, through about
hmm
like seventh, eighth grade. But I hit that point too where it was like, well, one of these sports you're gonna kind of have to take a little bit more serious, or at least that's what they was telling me at the time. Like looking back on it, I definitely didn't necessarily have to choose the way they made it seem, but there's like, all right, you're gonna do baseball or basketball because it got to a point where it wasn't the basketball in season at school, but it was like AAU ball that would
hmm
conflict with baseball during the spring and the summer. So baseball coaches getting mad, basketball coach getting mad when I'm missing or coming late from baseball. So I ended up choosing basketball, and I picked up baseball again in high school my junior year. Got injured my groin, and
Ooh.
the messed up part was I injured my groin the spring like of my junior year, And so like I wasn't like no shoe in for varsity my senior year. So the whole process of like being available in the summer so you can go to workouts and had the opportunity to make this impression on the coaches, all this stuff. I got injured in like April or like early May. So like my entire recovery time was the summer. So
Yeah.
I just felt like at that point I'm like, man, baseball just ruined like everything for me. So I was like, man, I ain't doing baseball ever again. But I wish I had taken it a little bit more serious back then, but no, I feel you though. So when you say the football thing, I definitely get it. But in seventh grade, when you made that switch, like what did that look like? Like when you started to intentionally prepare to like play collegiately or just know you want to play at the next level from grade school, what did that preparation and training look like from about like high school on or throughout high school for you?
Man, me and my dad, like we had so like when I was so I had went to elementary school in the suburbs and I had went to school back in Chicago, sixth grade year. So like I was still like we had moved from the city. We lived in the suburbs at the time. So I'm like an hour away from the city. But now school is an hour away. So I had a routine. I wake up 5:30 every morning. I'm out the house by 6 o'clock. I get to the gym, the school by 7. I'll work out from 7 to 7:45 because that's when the bell ring, you go to class. So I'll do like a morning workout, 45 minutes. Then you work out after school, get some homework done, do practice, then I gotta get home. I'm not getting home till like 9 o'clock at night. So
Yeah,
like it was like a continuous routine that I kind of just had to have because of my situation, my circumstances. And then watching basketball, like college basketball, like I don't watch the NBA now in the regular season. I watch the playoffs. But
yeah,
even when I was a kid, my dad always said like don't watch NBA basketball because it ain't real basketball. In a sense, like it is like it's still entertainment, but like
yeah,
it's different. So like watching college basketball, I remember watching John Wall.
yeah,
Man, John Wall was my favorite player, boy. John Wall was that dog. So like watching college basketball, watching those guys, and then obviously my when I was in seventh grade, my dad they went downstate and got third place in state that year. So
mm,
watching them, being a part of them, I mean being a part of like around that stuff like that, and then watching how those guys working. Like he had a guy that went to South Dakota State on that team. He had a guy that went to Wisconsin Green Bay on that team. They played overseas, played in G League. Like watching them preparation and even working out with them. Like I work out with them, go play with them because I always play ups. When I was at AAU, I never played my grade level until I got to high school. Like
right,
I was in second grade playing with sixth graders. Like
yeah,
I always play up. I never play my own grade. So like I always like play with older guys because that's when I get my most experience. Because if they beat on me, eventually I'm going like toughen up and I'm be able to get them back. You see what I'm saying? So like
yeah,
just that preparation, that work ethic, being around older guys, that's really showing me the way of how to prepare, how to work out, how to study film, how to view, how to watch stuff when you watching it. Like now, when I obviously I'm coaching now, so when I watch basketball, I'm looking at X and O's, I'm looking at everything. So I'm
yeah.
really like strategic in terms of when I'm watching sports. I'm not just watching just to watch it, but like as a kid though, like I had to kind of like learn how to do that. And the older guys that my dad coached that I was surrounded with, like they really helped me out, honestly, with doing it for real.
Yeah, no, that's real. I definitely think high school, at least something that I noticed with me and my training, like because of my trajectory, it never was something that became like a constant for me. But just knowing, guys around the way and knowing guys that did ultimately have a trajectory to go play, they were always training up. They was never, I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
might have had their trainer in individual sessions, but if they were ever training with or getting runs in with guys, it was always like older guys. And you just learned that really early on, like playing up or just playing against older people. Like for me, it wasn't college players, but even when I would play with adults and play against like OGs, like for me, like in runs like that, like open gyms that was like mainly adult open gyms, but you was able to go to because you knew somebody. Like so you the young cat in there, but like you running with these
Mm-hmm.
like late 20s, 30s, so they feel old to you in the moment, but like now
Yeah.
I'm them, so I can't. I don't really like to think about it that way, but it's like that experience though, because even then for them it was learning basketball, just learning simple movements, learning how to play the game the right way, like all types of small stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, playing up in any capacity always is just great experience for real. But so what was your high school career like? Like was it at like from jump as a freshman, was it that there was this immediate impact, or did you have a stretch where freshman year maybe you didn't play a lot and then that kind of increased each year? But like what does that high school story look like for you?
Man, my used to score crazy. Now imagine my dad the coach, my dad been my coach all my life. So when you the coach's son, everybody talking this and
Yeah.
that, like, oh, he ain't playing because he the son.
Yeah.
But I had two older guys, like my dad a senior and he had a sophomore that honestly, in my opinion, were better than me. Like, cause they already played high school, like they already played older, so like they're better than me. So I'm just a freshman, and so like I had to actually like fight for my spot like the entire like fall. We had to like me, the older guy's name was Rashid, and our senior's name was Tremaine. Man, we battling it out. Like we all battling out just to start. And then when you play teams that like they know, like obviously coaches they know each other, so like they know like if I'm the coach or something, like they know that the ball is going through me. So I had teams that would double team me, like I got to like run and stuff like that to go get the ball, like they denying me. So we got to the regional championship game. I'll never forget. We got to the regional championship game as a freshman. I shot 22 free throws. I missed 11. I was no, I was 9 for 22 from the free throw line. I had cramps, bro. I'm talking about. I had cramps. I was in a pass out on the bench, man. I was so tired, bro, because they just doubled me. They denied me the ball. It was horrible. But I'll never forget that, man. I was upset, man. I was crying because I just want to win for the seniors, though. Like I always cared about the older guys, because they ain't got no more time left. So I'm trying to win so that they can experience winning. So that was freshman year, sophomore year. I'm a little bit more like nurtured now, and I had some other guys that were freshmen with me that were playing with us as well. So we had a good freshman class. Sophomore year though, man, we still losing. But I will say though, like we had a better year in terms of like just how we were as a team. Like we honestly learned from the previous year before. We played a little bit better in our conference, but not so much. But we got to the sectional championship that year. So we lost in the regional championship my freshman year. We won that my sophomore year. We got to the sectional championship. But it's crazy how life works. In the sectional semifinal, we won on the buzzer beater. In the sectional championship, we lost on the buzzer beater.
Mm.
Like man, I'm talking about I was in shambles. I was crying. Man, I was so hurt, bro. I'm crying in my mom's arms. Man, it was horrible. Like that feeling, like when they hit a game winner, everybody's still on the court. I'm talking about I was crushed, bro.
Right.
Like that's probably I felt like I'm like, man, like this really hurt. Like that one really hurt. So then we come around junior year, we're way better now because we got some transfers in now. So we got some
Mm.
guys I play AU with. They come over to our team. So now we got a really good chance. So we had a losing record freshman and sophomore year. Junior year, now we got a winning record. I think we're like 19-11. Like it wasn't that great, but it was better than what it was before. So we won regionals, won sectionals. We got to super sections, which is the quarterfinals right before you get downstate. So we played in NIU, played the school from like Central Illinois. Man, I'm talking about like the game, like it was good. Like we really should have honestly blew them out. But like we honestly didn't respect them the way that they should have been respected. Like we didn't really attend to them how we should have. And that'll get you beat. Like it don't matter.
Yeah.
Like I don't care what nobody say. Like it don't matter who you are. If you don't respect the team that you playing or you get them attention that they deserve, you will get beat for sure.
Yeah.
And they beat us, man. I'm talking about they beat us. But it's crazy though, because I ain't cried. I was just mad. Like I was so mad. I'm like, we really got here and we just lost like this. I was so angry. So like our whole like mindset going into my senior was redemption. Like we on a revenge tour. Like everybody we play, like we trying to beat everybody. And so coming around senior year, we all then went through the fire. We done all faced defeat, buzzer beaters. We was this close to winning. And so we just honestly came in like, you know what? It's our last year. We gonna win this thing. And senior year though, like that was honestly like the best year because we all like it was something that was in the making. Like my dad had the vision from when we was kids because all the guys I played with, we played AU since we was sixth grade, seventh grade actually. So my dad had the vision. Senior year, like that was the one. And so we ended up getting to the state playoffs. Our margin of victory was like 25 and a half. Like we had our closest game was 10 points. Our
Mm.
closest game was 10 points in the state tournament. And that was a super sectionals. And then we got to downstate, man, we wiping them teams out of there. Like we was losing at halftime in our semifinal game by 1 point, and we won the game like 70-something-49. Like just blew them out. And then the state championship game, we won like 52-29. There's like we've never seen somebody hold the team to 29 points in a state championship game. Like we weren't playing at all. and we had a motto. We had a motto. We ain't done nothing yet. So like our coaches always said that like we ain't done nothing yet. They'll show us the score from last year. Like when we lost, like we was heated. So like we always had that just in the back of our mind. Like we still chasing this dream, this goal that we all want to achieve, and we end up achieving it. And so I won the state championship my senior year. Man, that was like the icing on the cake, man. Like working for something and then you eventually get it. Like it's a process. 4 years, a lot of people will give up. Like you lose and stuff. Like, a lot of people like, I don't want to do it, or they'll go find somewhere else and try to think the grass green on the side and go with teams that are winning. Nah, man, we had guys left us. No knock on them, but we also had guys that stayed with us and stuck it through. And that also joined us in the journey. And so being able to achieve that goal, that was a great thing. And my brother was on the team, who was a freshman at the time. So I won the championship with my dad as my coach and my brother on the team. Like it don't get no better than that. And like to be able to go from where I started as a freshman to where I was my senior, man, I was blessed, man. It was great. It was a crazy journey. Like I said, it was crazy, man. A lot of tears though, but it was good though. It was a crazy 4 years, but it was great, man.
Yeah, no, no, that's definitely a crazy high school story. But I mean, it sounds like the ideal one. I mean, I think any athlete, unless you just are coming in and you him as a freshman and you just get to play all 4 years as him. I mean, I guess that would be great. But I think just like going through the phase, like it builds character too. Like going through all the
Oh yeah.
phases, like being humbled, like having those losses, so like the win can be that much sweeter. Like I I get it. It ain't my experience. You know what I'm saying? But the people that experience it, I feel like it's pretty good. But so what was the recruitment process like? And when did it start for you? Did it start junior year or earlier? Was it not until senior year? And then ultimately, like, how did you end up deciding where you would ultimately go?
So it was about junior year because the coaches could reach out to us. So it was like it was up and down honestly, but like I do not like I didn't like the recruitment process because I just feel like people just be talking like you can't really tell like who's real, who's not, what people talking about. But I just wanted to play basketball. Like I just want to hoop. So like the one thing about me was just like relationship wise, like I think that was the biggest thing for me in terms of why I made my decision. And I know that like I'm like we still got high school, you still got AAU. So like when guys get to that point where it's recruiting, guys want to start showing out for AAU just so they can get looks. And I really want that type of guy. But I was like, we was playing some dogs though. I had to play Jalen Suggs and Chet when I played with them when they was on Team Sizzle. It's this dude he played at Iowa. He played in the G League now. A lefty named DJ. He was from like no, not Rock Island. He's from Quad City. I'm talking about the man came in at 8 a.m. was just dunking like like he had 35 at 8 a.m. I said, what is going on? Like he was on a mission. He was on a mission, but like we had to play against like those types of competition. I'm like, man, like sure, like they got all these D1 coaches in here. They looking at them. They looking at me. I'm chilling. But I know that it was a school called Illinois College where I ended up playing that they were there like from my junior year all the way until like I went to go sign and play with them. So they had an assistant coach, Coleman Reed, one of the best guys I've ever met in my life. That man would like they'll go up and play in Wisconsin and he'll cut through Chicago. But he'll like cut through, stay for a night, come watch me play, and then go there. Like he'll go out his way to come watch me play. Like they really showed their relationship and that commitment and that prioritizing me in terms of like not one of them, but all three of them be at some of my games and stuff like that. They reaching out to me, sending me quotes and sending me stuff that resonate with me, not only for basketball, but just as a young kid at the time, growing up to be a man, stuff like that. And so that process, like it was like I said, it was hard, because you can't visit every school, you can't go see everything. But I remember when I went to go visit the school, I'm like, okay, small town, about 22,000 people in the town. I mean, it's 3 hours from the crib. I can go home when I need to. So I'm like, you know what? This ain't bad. Conference was okay. And it was a guy that was on the team that's from Chicago as well.
Hmm.
One of my best friends was on the team. He was my best friend in college, but we ain't known before. But he was there, and it was honestly like the best thing I could do at the time was to go there, and achieve what I want to do was play college basketball, and I was one of the freshmen that played a lot, and I really like enjoyed it honestly. And then COVID happened,
Mm.
and then COVID just changed everything after that. Man, COVID was crazy.
Dang, yeah, no, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that that hit your class. So that was your freshman year. This was your freshman year
My
that COVID hit?
freshman, yep, because
Yeah.
COVID hit March. Like our season, like we weren't good. We was like 6-19. We was trash, but but COVID hit like in March, so the season was already over with. So when COVID hit, it's like it just changed everything because nobody knew like how to handle COVID. Honestly, like no one knew what to do. Like they were just trying to figure out the best way to do it. Respected it, and hats off and respect to those people that were trying to figure it out and stuff like that. But once we had got back to campus, it was just all types of different rules and stuff. Like we couldn't even practice in the first semester. Like it was crazy. We had to wear a mask and stuff. I had to get tested like every single day, 3 times a day, like nose or spit test. It was crazy, you know. And so that whole COVID thing, like COVID and basketball, like it was crazy. It was honestly wild. Going from playing however many games to we only played 9 games my sophomore year.
Mm,
Like we played 9 games and it was all from January to February. I was
dang.
like, man, this is crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, no, because it was like like COVID happened, and then like we went through the summer, and then I remember like that fall and winter, everybody like tried to ease up a little bit. Then like that second surge kind of came back at the top of what would have had to been, what was that, 21? Yeah, it would have had to been like top of 21.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't remember a lot about that collegiate season, but I just know that was still when things were really different, and they were trying to figure out like how exactly do we continue, having seasons like we are used to, or are we gonna have to completely change that model? But
But it was crazy though because like you had to wear a mask and be like 6 feet apart on the bench, but you can go play a game with none of the dudes with
yeah,
no mask, no nothing. Like some of this stuff, it didn't make no sense. Some of it. But I
yeah,
will say the best thing about COVID was classes went online. You ain't have to go to class no more. I'm talking about hybrid. You in the crib just chilling.
yeah,
You just gotta turn in your work by a certain time, man. I'm talking about I was so happy when that happened. I was so happy when that happened.
yeah. I couldn't imagine that happening during my time. Yeah, yeah, it would have been, yeah, it would have been wild. Would have been a sight to see for sure. So after that, well, with your sophomore season, how did that end? And then like what happened at the end of that sophomore season? Because is that when you left after that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So after my sophomore year, like after all that happened, I just got to a point where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna stick this out. I was like, me and the coach, we had some things going on. I still love him too. Like that's still my guy. We still talking stuff, but we just had some things going on. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going, just go be a regular student, honestly. Because I just felt like I did what I wanted to do. I played college ball. I had a good time. Now it's time for me to kind of move on to a different lane. So when I got to Mizzou, like I didn't know nobody. Like for the first, I want to say from August to like November, I didn't even leave the house. Like I go to class and just go back home. Go to class, go back home. Like I didn't go to no student center. I didn't like go out branch to meet nobody. Like I ain't gonna lie, like that was like a really low point for me, honestly, because I wasn't in the routine no more. I wasn't an athlete, so I had so much time. I didn't know what to do. Like I honestly had no idea what to do with any of the time I had, because usually most of the time I had was all basketball,
Yeah.
workouts, stuff like that. So like from August to November, I didn't do anything at all. Like I was a manager. I was a manager for the team for my uncle, but outside of that, like I didn't do nothing at all. So then I ended up working at the rec center for intramural sports, and that's when I started to like meet people. Like that was kind of my way of meeting people and stuff like that. So I was officiating with them. And so the guys that were in charge there, like they took care of me honestly, because I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I'm just chilling. I'm trying to get accustomed to the work and stuff. I mean, schoolwork stuff like that, you know. And the campus is so big, like you got to park one way and walk 5 miles to a class. I'm like, man, and they be trying to ticket you, man. It was
Hey,
crazy. They be
hey,
on it. Hey, Mizzou
they,
parking be
they don't play, bro. They do not play about that parking at all.
Man, but that's like literally what it was. So that whole first semester, I'm just trying to get adjusted, get accumulated to the school, stuff like that. And then, like we weren't good. Like Mizzou, we weren't good that year. So like even being a manager there, like it was some days I'm like, man, like this kind of depression. Like ain't nobody happy to play. Like because like when you losing, it is not fun. Trust, it is not fun when you losing. But like that whole year, like I was really like getting adjusted. Then I started to meet people my second semester there, just working at the rec center and stuff like that, and being able to participate. And I was like, I seen a whole different side of like college, like the rec stuff. Like we didn't have that at the D3 level. You ain't got that big rec center and all the activities and stuff like that. But at Mizzou, you got everything: club sports, intramural sports. You
Yeah.
got 10 courses now. I'm like, man, like it's kind of crazy. Like you could do something on two other courses down there and stuff like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow. And then like I was able to meet people through that, then that's when I really started to like, all right, now I kind of found myself outside of being an athlete. Now I'm just TJ. Now I'm just a regular person, school, work, and then social life, and so like I was able to navigate through that. It was hard though that first semester for sure. It was definitely hard. But then that second semester, I ended up like really getting comfortable. So now I was better after that for sure.
Yeah, no, that's definitely real, and I think that's something that's not talked about a lot. I think it's becoming a little bit more of a conversation now because the mental health conversation in general, but then
Oh
also
yeah.
that conversation with athletes is becoming more of the norm. But when you talk about that transition, how talk a little bit more because you kind of mentioned it, but talk a little bit more about that process of figuring out who you were outside of being an athlete. Because, like you said, when you don't have or you don't have to be like, restricted to that routine anymore. It's like I think a lot of people look at it like, oh, well, just go, be regular. And I don't think people
Mm-hmm.
conceptualize that like if you've been
Mm-mm.
an athlete for the majority of your life, like when you don't have that type of structure, it's a bit weird to say, yeah, just go be regular when regular to you is my training, my workouts, my
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. So just talk about what that process was like for you in regards to finding your new identity in that transition period.
So like I had to find like what I enjoyed, like outside of basketball, whether it was, playing a game with some of my guys I hang out with, or like I'll go out, in the town and stuff, hang out with people. But then like I would try to like figure out like, okay, like how can I keep stuff like still like to myself? I read books here and there. Like it's books that I read that help me out a lot because I was watching a lot of TV. I'll tell you that. I was trying to find me some new shows, to watch and stuff like that. Um, but like it was really like it felt like a personal shift in terms of just my mindset and how I process things and things that I see other people doing. I'm like, nah, I don't really want to do that. But then I see other people do some stuff. I'm like, okay, I could see, if I want to do stuff like that. So I also learned from other people as well, like seeing what they were doing, seeing how they kind of got by through time. Because it's really like a time thing. Like when you got so much time, you're trying to figure like, all right, how can I best use this time that I have to be productive, better myself, basically like that. And so I learned from people that I hung out with at Mizzou for sure in terms of helping with that transition. So it wasn't just me, like me, it was me, but like I also like learned from like what other people are doing, and I kind of took bits and pieces from that and just imprinted it into myself so that I could see like if I like this or if I didn't like this.
Yeah,
I mean, shoot, going to the student center really helped me out a lot. Like that took a part of my day because I'm like I could just go from class and go here. I get some homework done. I get some food here, and I could just like socialize for a few hours, and then I can go home. I ain't just gotta go home right away,
right.
So definitely, I was at the student center every day for sure. I was definitely at the student center for sure. So
Yeah,
it was really just learning from other people, you know, and then just figuring out like what did I really enjoy, what did I really love to do outside of what I already love to do, you know,
yeah. So no, that's definitely real. Shout out to the student center because
for sure.
no matter what your era is, I feel like the student center played a role. So shouts out
For
to that.
sure.
But when did the idea or when did the thought of coaching like come into play? Was that a part of that transition and shift, or was that something that was completely separate and completely after the fact?
That was more so my second semester when I was at Mizzou. So I spoke with my uncle, about wanting to get into coaching. So when I will backtrack my sophomore year, at the end of my sophomore year, going to that summer, I coached AAU in Chicago, Chicago Demons. So I coached for them for a summer, for a little bit, and so then when I got to Mizzou, I was a I was with my uncle, and so I reached out to him and asked him, if he had any guys that he knew that needed some coaching, for AAU. So I ended up helping out Michael Porter Jr. Elite that spring actually. And so then I had met a guy, Jamie Osborne, who's the head coach at Fatherton High School in Columbia. I met him through coaching in that program, and he had hired me to be an assistant with him at the high school. So my senior year, I coached high school the whole year. Like I was finishing my degree, but I coached high school basketball the whole year. I was a head freshman coach there, then assistant with JV and varsity, and then it was crazy how like all that kind of came about just by relationships. I met one person and then connected with another person. Then me and the head coach, like that's a big brother to me. Like I'm forever grateful for him to even give me the opportunity to coach at high school level. And being around those kids, that community environment, like high school sports is huge out there. High school sports is huge. So being able to um go from where I was before that first semester, like not knowing anything, to that second semester to where now I'm starting to get my feet wet. Now I'm starting to coach a little bit more, and now I'm learning from guys that's already been in the business, like years of experience. And so then that's really where that transition came about for sure.
Yeah, no, that makes, I mean, that not only tracks just given like what you've explained, but I think it's dope that your entire senior year, like you said, like you're a high school coach, your entire senior year. And it's like, but I mean, in college, like it, depending on what you're doing, right? Like it's doable. Like, yeah, it's, I mean, it's a
Mm-hmm.
job, and yeah, it's not your typical or your ordinary job for a high school senior, but also if that's the path that you want to go down, I mean, that's an amazing opportunity. So what was that opportunity? What was that opportunity like, and how did that lead into what you would do after graduation?
So we started off in the summertime. So they had like summer leagues in June. June basketball is always high school basketball. So I was with them in the summertime, just really getting used to it. Understanding like what Jeremy wanted as a coach, from his assistant, stuff like that. Learning the offense, and the defensive schemes, that defensive strategies that he wanted to do as well. And then watching film from their previous years to see how they ran stuff. So then when the season came, like we had a that the it took fourth that year in state. Yeah, it took fourth that year in state. So like we had a really good team. Now we were a young team though, like a real, like our core group was our core group was sophomores. So we had a really young team, but we also had some older guys too. Um, and so being around them, like that was the one thing, was like the development. Like that's the big thing I say that was really my focus on coaching with them, because I was coaching with the freshmen. So with the freshmen, all I care about is their development. Like yeah, we won some games, yeah, we lost some games, but the development piece was a really huge part, because I'm trying to develop them for the JV when they move on to the next level, and then their coach is doing the same thing. They move on to the next level, because high school basketball should be about your development, not necessarily wins and losses. Like yeah, that comes with it, but you want to be able to develop kids, not only just basketball players, but as just young men. And so the kids, like being able to develop their basketball stuff. Like a lot of them didn't know like basic fundamental stuff, that I was taught just as a little kid. And
Yeah,
so being with them, I'm teaching them how to slap their feet the right way. Like I'm doing drills that I was doing as a kid to understand how to like play basketball the right way. Understanding like game situations, late game situations, close game situations, stuff like that. So being around that, and then seeing how Jeremy was in terms of his development with the older guys, it was just very inspiring, to see. Because I'm trying to not mimic him, but be as close as that for the younger guys, and I feel like it was some parents, on that. I mean, on some parents from the kids, like they didn't necessarily like how I coach the kids, because I would yell at the kids. I mean, like my dad, yeah, I mean, my dad don't curse at all. Like he don't curse. Like he ain't never cursed at all. But like I yell at the kids. I curse here and there. I mean, that's just how I am. But like but it's coming from a place of passion.
Yeah,
Place of competitiveness. Like that's just how I. This is how I am as a person. I'm not gonna change who I am for nobody else. So
right.
like, so some of the parents like they voice their concerns about like how I would like coach their kids, but then there's other parents who've coached sports before that understand how I'm coaching their kids and what I'm trying to do for their kids for their future, not for right now. Like
Yeah,
the president, like I'm not worried about. I'm worried about on how can I help your kid better for next year because I was only gonna be there for 1 year.
yeah,
So that's why I'm trying to figure out how can I help your kid to be better for next year. I don't want them to be the same player now than next year because then that means I failed as a coach. If I
yeah,
got a kid as a freshman and he don't improve to it and going into a sophomore year, then I failed as a coach. And I don't want to be no failure, but like I don't want people to be like, this guy can't coach. Like his kids stay the same every single year. Like I don't want that. You don't want the reputation on your name as a coach.
from that year at Totem, how did you what did that start to look like toward graduation, and then what was the process for you of figuring out what you were going to do next?
So going towards so the season had ended, got fourth in state, and so some AAU coaches had reached out to me as like, do you want to coach for AAU? And I'm kind of looking for some college opportunity just to be a GA. And so I started to just reach out to coaches that I know. So I really wanted to go to Purdue because that's what my dad played at, so I know them stuff like that. And so like things just didn't work out the way it did. I mean, things just didn't work out, stuff like that. So then after that, I reached out to my uncle, see if he knows anybody, and so it's how he got me connected with Coach Amir, who I work for now. And so he was at Kennesaw State the past 4 years before this year. And that is crazy how I talked about those 4 years of high school where you go from losing to winning.
Yeah.
He was at Kennesaw State his first year. They only won one game. They
Mm.
won. They was 1-28, I think, or one or something. And 4 years later, he won a championship there for conference and took them to the NCAA tournament. So like, so seeing how, so it's crazy how just God works. But seeing how I was in high school and then to work for a guy that went through that whole development process, it's a process. You ain't gonna win right away. Like you ain't gonna win right away. Like it takes time. But seeing how he built a program, from there for 1 year to 4 years, and then working for him now to see how he built the program and we won the regular season championship for the first time in school history in just 1 year. Like it was mind blowing to see, how like now I've seen the blueprint to what it means to build a program, to create a culture, things of that nature. And so we got connected around April, and it's crazy. The day I graduated is the day they called me and offered me the job. I said, "Whoa!" Like it was just
Wow.
crazy. It was crazy. Like I swear, I literally just got done with my graduation. Cause I graduated 8 o'clock in the morning, man. That was brutal. That was brutal. That was brutal. But I'm literally in the car on my way back to my apartment with my family, and they called me. I was like, man, this is crazy. So then I told my family, like everybody was happy. Like it was just crazy how it all just unfolded. And then I got here in the summertime, and we hit the road running. And then we had the good year that we had, and so it was crazy how all of that just unfolded. Because at a point in time, I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna get an opportunity. So I ain't know really what I was doing. So I'm just trying to reach out to coaches that I know,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. No, that's first of all, that's dope to graduate and get that news in the same day. That's a huge relief, bro, because it's just like it's a lot of I don't think people be realizing how many people really don't know. And it's not because people don't have plans or things they want to do, but like it's so much that's up in the air around that time. And it's like there is no on switch that's like as soon as you graduate, like you got you
Oh
got life
no,
figured out. Like, no, I don't know nothing about what I'm about to do next, big dog. When I figure it out, I'll let you know. You know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? But yeah, what would you say has been your biggest lesson or takeaway from year one at the college level of coaching?
um, Man, character and culture.
Mm,
Character and culture, man. That's the one thing I learned for sure. Character and culture. Our coach, he always got this funny saying. He always say, "It don't matter if we in Timbuktu or Tampa. Our culture gonna shine. Our culture and character gonna shine through it all." And it's always just stuck in my head. And then he always talks about like habits. And habits on the court, off the court. Like your habits got to match in order for you to be successful. And when I like think about just the whole year, I'm like, man, like it's really like everything that he said, he spoke, what he seen, like all that came to light. Like the whole character piece, the whole culture piece, and like he'll tell us like he ain't gonna lose no game because of culture. Like you ain't gonna disrespect his culture and think you gonna play. Like, and that's the one thing I will say about him is him being truthful, transparent with players. Like a lot of coaches that I've met or I've had guys play for, like they aren't necessarily transparent. Like they'll tell you one thing and do a whole nother. With the guy that I work for, he gonna tell you one thing and he gonna stand on that. Like he ain't backing down, he ain't doing none of that. But like he allows his players to be like he's very transparent with his players, and he allows them to be as well. So it ain't like it's just like a dictatorship in the program where don't nobody else got no say so except for him. Like he invites other people input. He invites the players input, stuff like that. But culture and character, that's definitely the two things that I definitely learned for sure. This first year, and it's crazy. Like I mean, my dad has did it all his life, but I just never understood it at that age because you're a
mm,
kid.
yeah.
When you in something and they telling you stuff, yeah, that sounds good. Like yeah, that sounds good. But then when you out of it and you looking at it from an outside perspective, and now it's different. Now you see things so much different. That's why like the stuff that we didn't went through and stuff. Like I didn't went through it as a kid playing for my dad, but I just never understood it because I was an athlete. Won't nobody worry about that. You see what I'm saying? But like now I'm in a position where I see it from a whole different perspective, and so working for the guy that I work for, man, it's definitely those two things, culture and character for sure.
Yeah, no, that I mean, I think those are two of the biggest components of a great program in general. What would you add to those two things in terms of like what makes a really good program? So if you have character, if you have culture, what would you say are like three other things that like if a program has that, then more than likely they're a really solid program that's either building and on their way to being great or they're already established in that way.
I'll also add trust in that for sure. Um, humility,
Mm,
humility is that's definitely another one for sure. Um, and then another one I say is a consistency. Those trust, humility, consistency. Those three things added with those two, yeah, you got a program that's built to last, not a program that's just built for 1 year. You got a program that's built to last for sure.
no, that's definitely real. I'd agree with those three as well. I don't know if I would add anything differently. Um, what what makes a great coach?
Mm, mm, that's a man. I'm still trying to figure that question out.
Yeah,
Nah, but
I don't know if there's one
nah,
solidified answer to it, but
nah. It's not one solidified answer because it's different. It's definitely a lot of components for sure. Um, but I will say that a coach that has character. So I'm actually it's a former coach by the name of Gary Waters has a book called The 10 Principles of a Character Coach.
mm,
No, a coach of character, I believe. And so like I was in the Phoenix for the Final Four. He spoke at the Black Coaches Association convention, um, about coaches of character, um, and his principles that he spoke about. He was saying like that's what makes you a good coach is your character. Whether you coaching like on the court or in the community or on campus, with the students or whatever. and I would say that character, for sure is what makes a coach a good coach. Well, regardless if you win or lose,
Yeah.
regardless if you win or lose, like it ain't about wins or losses. It's about you as a character. And I remember we had a game at North Texas, on the road, and we had won. And this lady had came up to me and had said, "Your coach coaches with class." And
Mm.
when she said that to me, I was like, man, like, mind you, these ain't our fans. These they fans.
Yeah.
And so when she came up to me and said, "Your coach coaches with class," I was like, man, like that's a huge accomplishment.
Mm.
I mean, a huge compliment coming from somebody that don't even know you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they probably never even heard of you until this game. But for somebody to come out the stands and say that about a guy that I work for, that's how you know you working for a good coach. When people giving compliments like that, I was like, man, like, and I'll never forget that compliment, But like when that was told to me, I was like, yeah, that's real right there. So I would definitely say that character piece for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just I think like you see it and you know it. Like you know when there's a guy on the sidelines that has character because you know when coaches have, I mean, you know when players have bought in to a coach. You know when players have been when a coach has been accepted by players in the sense of like, no, this is somebody that we're willing to follow. Like we are willing to let this man lead us because more I would think and things that I've always looked at just from coaches in general and some of the coaches that I know, do players feel like you see them? Do players feel like you have their best interests at heart? And do players feel like you're you're coaching for them and not necessarily like coaching for yourself? Because like that's a thing that can happen too. So I'd agree, like that character piece, man, it touches a lot. Like it crosses a lot off across the spectrum. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's probably the fundamental and foundational piece because yeah, yeah, it's yeah, I'd agree, man. Yeah, I'd agree. What do you think your trajectory is, or what do you want it to be moving forward as far as coaching?
So I got another year here. So I'm also getting my master's as well.
Okay.
So I'll graduate my master's next year. And so I want to be able to, like I always said, I want to be in a program where I have a voice. Where I can be myself, and I can have a voice to impact. And that's the great thing about where I am at right now. Like, yeah, I'm a GA. So I'm still in that you gotta, what's the word? You gotta make your way. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
You can't just
Gotta
shoot
earn your
right
stripes.
up to
Yeah.
you earn your stripes. You
Yeah.
gotta earn your
Yeah.
stripes. So but even within that, I still have the platform to be impactful to others and learn from others and inspire others. So I just want to be able to get an opportunity to continue to do that. At this level of moving forward. Um, and being like just a servant to others, no matter what title I have or whatever, but be able to serve others, that's a huge thing for me. So obviously I want to be a head coach one day. Like that's the ultimate goal for sure, is to become a head coach of the program one day, and to be able to build my own program from from what I've learned from the guys that I worked for um previously, and so like anytime like coach like say stuff, I got like a whole bunch of notes on my phone, just everything he say, like quotes, or books that he referenced. Like I just try to take bits and pieces of everything so that when it's my time, I'm ready.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to prepare now for however long until I get the opportunity. I'm just trying to continue to prepare, so that when that time comes, I ain't got to be nervous, I ain't got to be hesitant. Like I'm confident, knowing like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, yeah, I'm ready for this. So my definitely ultimate goal is to be a head coach one day, for sure.
Yeah. No, I feel that, man. And does it matter at which level? Do you want that to be collegiate? Could it be high school? Like,
Nah, I ain't doing high school no more. Nah. Like I don't know how
Really?
my dad did it for so long, man. I don't know how he did it for so long. But man, high school, nah. I had my one good year. I'm good.
So I'm cool on that.
But no, yeah, I'm cool. But like at the collegiate level though, like I'll be a head coach at D3 school, D2, and then I like
Yeah.
it's the opportunity. Is
Nice.
that's the opportunity. Like everybody starts from somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
like like I've known guys that's gone from JUCO to D1,
Yeah.
from D3 to D1. So it's like everybody starts from somewhere. But like I would not mind at the all level because I mean it's like level like yes, there's different levels in the program, but you still developing young men, regardless if you D3, D2, NAIA. You developing men, and that's the whole point of really being able to be a coach, to be able to have basketball be the navigation to developing young men into men, and you can do it at any level, and that's what that's what I intend to do. So that's why like I wouldn't turn down no D3 job just because I want to be in D1. Nah, like God he gonna do the planning for me anyway. So
Yeah.
I can say I want to be here, but he gonna open up a door, and he gonna say you gotta go through this door, and then you can get to another door after that, And so that's why I would never say no to any opportunity that's available for me at any level because I respect it all. Imagine I played D3, so I know what it takes. Like I know how different it is from D3 to where I am now.
Yeah.
So like that'll humble you. I think that'll humble a lot of guys. At like people don't understand. D3 will humble you. It will humble you. So it's like that's why I say I never turn down no opportunity, no matter what the level is, because I just know what an opportunity can do for not only my life, but for the lives of other men, for other young men.
But yeah, man, we've talked about a lot, man. We talked about like your journey as an athlete. We talked about your journey as a coach, your journey as a man, even really to be honest, and a lot of consistent themes throughout. But with everything you've discussed, with all your experiences, with everything that you've overcome and everything that you want to do, what exactly do you feel like makes you qualified?
Mm, mm. One of the things I say for sure is my work ethic. Like I've been a worker since I was a kid. Like just working, not working in like terms of a job, but just working, in what I do. That's one thing for sure. And then I said I'm a winner. I think that's the biggest thing about me is everywhere I've been, I didn't win. Now D3 ain't winning that, but that's okay though. That's okay though. But anywhere else though, like I didn't won as a player in high school. You know, I've been a part of winning as at a high school program. And then I've won my first year. We win a regular season championship. And we do some historical things that's gonna be forever remembered. Like we done honestly changed like the atmosphere and the environment just because of winning.
Yeah,
Just because of what we did, just because by winning. But like it takes a lot in terms of how to get to the winning part. Like the people don't see the behind the scenes and what it actually takes, but the whole winning aspect, like I've seen firsthand how winning can shift an environment. I mean, a sport environment, sport atmosphere. Um, like with my own two eyes. So I feel like the me being labeled as a winner, that's the big thing for sure. My work ethic, me being a winner, and obviously, God is the head of my life, so God gonna always take care of me. And that's always gonna be the one I lean on to the most. That's gonna make sure I get to where I need to be, not to where I want to be, but where I need to be, because He's the planner. He's the planner of all plans. So though those three things for sure, I feel like are the ones that qualify me to be able to be successful one day, And then when I am, people gonna understand like why I'm successful, because they gonna see those qualities.
yeah, no, that's real, man. I love it. I think the being a winner, being a worker and a winner is an amazing way to put it, and it sucks because it's not to it's not to emphasize that not everybody is a winner per se, but I think in anything, just knowing how to get the job done, it's not something that everybody can do. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a
Hmm.
person that has had those experiences in life, and especially in different aspects throughout, it definitely does mean something. There's a way to not downplay it without making people feel less than, because maybe it's not something that they relate to or that they've experienced. So I like that. I really like that answer, man. I think that's dope. But yeah, man, no, amazing interview, man. I feel like you dropped a lot of gems. I feel like you gave a lot of insight. Like if you are an athlete, if you are a coach, if you are anywhere in that sports field, I feel like there's a lot to take away from. And if you're not in that field, I think it's a lot of life lessons too. I think a lot of
Oh,
things
for sure.
transferable and applicable. So you got to be able to pick it out. But yeah, anything that you need to plug or anything that you just want people to know about in regards to following you or keeping up with you and everything that you got going on.
I mean, my Instagram is TJ number two Ervin ERVIN underscore. And then I got Twitter, uh, second Timothy, so capital two I's, Timothy Ervin underscore. Real simple.
Yeah, man, but that is about it. If y'all have not taken away anything from this episode, I don't know what to tell you. Watch it again so you can pick up on all the gems maybe the second time. But yeah, man. Until next week and until next episode, thank you again for coming on the show, bro. I absolutely appreciate it.
My
Um,
brother.
and yeah, till next time. I'll catch y'all next week.
Yes,
Peace.
sir.